Hey there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King, and I know you never thought this day would come. It's been so long, but it's here. It's time to relaunch the Dollar Bin Trading Challenge. Hooray! Now, for those of you who maybe missed the previous videos, because it's been almost 2 years since we did this, let me just go over how this works real quick for you. A few years ago, I came up with a crazy idea where I was going to try and trade dollar bin books all the way up to get an All-Star Comics #8, the first appearance of Wonder Woman. And we've done a bunch of cool trades since then. We've worked our way up a little bit, not even remotely close to reaching that goal, but we're having a lot of fun doing it. And so basically, I start with a pool of 20 books that I got out of dollar bins. And as I'm trading them to different people, I'm getting in new stuff, trading those. Anytime a slot opens in the pool, I can then put another book in that I found in a dollar bin. Those are the basic rules. Again, one of the great things for me for doing this, I love getting in the new comics, but even more than that, I love helping people get what they're looking for. So it's really awesome for me when I can find something that someone else wants and trade it to them. That's really one of the highlights, because anything that comes in this pool, I'm going to be trading back out. So it doesn't actually matter to me like what's in the pool. Until I get that All-Star 8, everything's going back out. So I'm really focused on getting in cool stuff that I can then trade to you guys so that you can fill holes in your collection or just get cool books or whatever. And so that's basically how it works. In the text down below, there'll be more specific rules. But basically, I'm not spending any money other than buying stuff in dollar bins and on shipping, and occasionally, on rare occasions, sending something to CGC. Otherwise, everything's going to be dollar bin books. Now, for those of you who were around before, there's a couple new rules going on. One of the big reasons for the delay, in fact, the big reason for the long delay in between, is I had some stuff that was happening with the trading challenge during the last round that was kind of not making it that much fun for me anymore. And I needed to sort of step back and take a break and think about how I wanted to do things. So I've got a couple new rules. I mean, one of the simplest rules that I probably should have had in from the beginning is if something's in the pool for a while and it's clear that nobody wants it, I'm allowing myself to just take it out of the pool and replace it with something else. So you'll see in our pool of returning books from last time, there's still a couple in there that have been there on a long time, but I've decided to give it one more shot on those. But if people ends up, they're not interested in those, then I'll at least temporarily rotate them out, rotate something else in. I'll still have these in the background, and they could reappear later on. But that just gives me a little more leeway, a little more flexibility. And again, part of the point of this is to get you guys books that you want. So if I have stuff that's in here and it's taking up slots in my pool and nobody wants it, then it doesn't benefit anybody. So it's better for me to just move those out of the way, bring in stuff that maybe you'll like more, and it just keeps it more fluid. The other big change that I'm doing is at the top of the pool. So I was having sort of some stagnation at the top where I got to a certain level with the books, and it was becoming increasingly hard to trade them away. And so we're going to have two tiers. So today in this video, I'm going to be showing you the main tier. This is the pool of the 20 books that they're up for trade. But I do have a couple high-end books that are sort of retired from the regular pool. Those are still available for trade, but they're books that I'm a lot less likely to trade. They're high enough ticket items where I will need just the right trade to do it. And I'm a people person. Like I really don't like saying no to people. So when people are sending me trade offers for things that I'm not interested in or stuff like that, like it's really hard for me to say no. But because of the nature of the trading challenge, a lot of times with these high-end books, I had to say no. And it just was really making me uncomfortable to do that. So I'm kind of removing those books from the pool, and I'm going to figure out some other way to sort of trade them along. Which brings me to the last sort of minor change to this. We've been doing this all along anyway, and I had been getting some complaints about it because people felt it was breaking the rules of the competition. So I'm changing the rules. So, you know, that's the way it is. And so with the challenge, basically, I'm going to be treating these YouTube videos as an update on how the challenge is going. And when I post the list of the books for trade here, there's going to be an exclusivity window where I'm only going to have them available here for maybe a week. And then I've got a bunch of other trading venues that I'm going to be bringing the books to sort of one by one. And to be honest, most of the trades that I've been doing the last few rounds have been through other venues. I do have a few trade partners here on YouTube, which I really appreciate. And this did start as sort of the YouTube experiment. But to be honest, I've really had to do a lot of legwork the last couple rounds of trades, bringing things to like the CGC forums, trading on Instagram and Reddit and Facebook and other comic forums. I've had to really work hard to find trading partners all across the spectrum. And so rather than sort of, it was really delaying things a lot to be like, let me wait till I get the books in, I'll post another video, and then hold all the books until the next video before I offer anything up for trade. It's just not practicable. The way that it really has to work is like if I get a book in here in a trade and then I go to the CGC forums and someone wants the book that I just got in, I need to be able to trade it to them. And then I go to Reddit and maybe I trade the book I got from the CGC forums when I'm on Reddit before I have a chance to do another video. So the upshot is there may be books that I get in and trade out between videos. So it's possible I may get some stuff in that like never actually makes it to the next video. But that's really the only way that this can work. My sincere hope, again, is to make this a community thing. Right from day one, I've really wanted to get everybody involved. Trading partners, I would love to do more trades with other YouTubers. Maybe have some people on, talk about comics and do some trades, vice versa. It hasn't really worked out like that. Again, I haven't really, a couple trading partners, in particular Silver Knight Kyle. So if you haven't checked out his channel, you'll definitely want to check out his channel as well. He's been my top trading partner, but I would love to get in more trading partners from other collectors on YouTube and sort of make this a community thing where we can all help each other get the books that we want. So I look at myself as sort of a conduit. I get books in, I send books out, I find the people that want the books I get in. So that's what we're hoping to do here. So having said all of that, I think it's time to get into the books. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm treating this sort of like a relaunch because we have some books that are sort of retired, which I'll get to after I show the ones that we have in the current pool. And then I also rotated out a few books that was just nobody was interested in, had been in the pool for a long time. The result is more than half of the books that are in the new list of 20 books in the Trading Challenge pool are new books. I'm going to start off by showing the books that are returning from previous rounds. Then after I've shown off all the books, I'll put up the lists of what we finished the previous round at, and what we started the last round at, and how that's changed to this round. And then I'll talk about this sort of second tier, sort of the high ticket books that are sort of retired from the regular pool, and show off a couple of those. But let's get right into it. Here are the books in the trading pool, and there's going to be a list of all of these down below that's going to have their grades. It's going to have the trading amount, the value I'm looking for in trade for them. And it's also basically if something gets traded, I'll list it there as traded. And if someone offers me something and we're like negotiating for something, then I'll list it as pending, right? But here we go. Trading challenge. Let me start off with the books that are returning, and we're going to go from sort of least expensive to most expensive. Now, this is a book that I considered taking out because I got this Micronauts #1. You'll see that it's a Whitman variant. It's about an 8.0. I got this in the first round of the trading challenge way back, like 3.5 years ago when we started this, and I love this book. But much to my surprise, nobody's traded for it. I haven't really got any interest in it. I'm not really sure why. It's first appearance of the Micronauts. It's a really nice copy. It's about an 8.0. And again, it is a Whitman variant. So that's cool too. But for whatever reason, no one's traded for it yet. So I'm keeping it in the pool for now because I do love this book. I think it's a great book. I'm a big Micronauts fan. It's got Michael Golden art. It's got a great story. First appearance in comics of all of these characters. It's just an awesome sort of Bronze Age book. But for whatever reason, no one's traded for it yet. Which means it's now your opportunity to get that. Next up, this is something we just got in the last round. So I think I showed it in the last round, but I haven't got a trade on it yet. And it's a group of lenticular variant covers. Now, the one that's sort of most valuable here is this. It's Thanos number 13. And this has a cool cover where if you turn it one way, it's the cover of Secret Wars number 12. And then when you turn it, Doctor Doom turns into Thanos, and it turns into Thanos 13. So it's a really cool lenticular cover. It's also the first appearance of Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is basically Ghost Rider in space, but the person that is turning into Ghost Rider is the Punisher. I don't really understand it. The character maybe is maybe not the target audience for that character, but there was a little bit of heat around this book when it first came out as the first appearance of the Cosmic Ghost Rider. It does have this really cool lenticular cover. Now, there's also 3 DC books. They did a whole month basically of these lenticular covers featuring villains. They're a little bit different. They're more like 3D look than the classic lenticular on the other one. As you turn it, you get 2 different images. This is it has more of a 3D in depth. I'm not sure it really comes across on the video. To be honest, I think these look a lot cooler in terms of the effects than the Thanos one. When you have these in hand, they really look 3D. Like the depth of field on them is really cool. And we've got 3 of those. And so the set of all 4 of these is for trade. And again, I'll have the list down below of what I'm asking for in trade for these, but I'm not asking for very much for these. For the whole set, I think it's like 15. So they're really, really cool books. So hopefully they'll find a good home. Now, these are lower grade books, but they're minor keys straight out of the Bronze Age. Again, it's another set of books. It's Richard Dragon Kung Fu Fighter, number 5 and number 18. Now, number 5 is the first appearance of Lady Shiva, which you can see right here on the cover. And then also right on the cover, it's the first Bronze Tiger. Now, the character who becomes Bronze Tiger in this issue, his first appearance was in issue 1, so he's in the whole series, but he adopts the identity of Bronze Tiger in this issue, and then he becomes sort of one of the main characters in Suicide Squad several years after this. So these are great books. Minor keys. They're both, lower mid-grade in the 4.5 to 5 range. Probably closer to 4.5, but they're both solid, solid books. And I think I'm asking just 20 in trade for the set of both of those. Now, here's another big lot, but this is a much, much larger lot. And this is a big lot of cool Silver Surfer books. So if you're a Silver Surfer fan, or, you want to get into Silver Surfer, this is a absolutely perfect starting point because it's got a little bit of everything. Starting with 1982's Silver Surfer number 1, which has this classic, iconic Silver Surfer cover. Right, so that's the 1982 Silver Surfer number 1. But we also have the 1987 ongoing series Silver Surfer number 1. And not just number 1. In addition to number 1, this lot comes with number 2. number 3, and number 4. So we've got 1987 Silver Surfer 1 through 4, and from that same run, annual number 1. Plus, we have this big lot of fantasy masterpieces. Now, these were oversized reprint books, and this series reprinted the entire original 1968 Silver Surfer series. Now, I don't have the whole run, but there's 6 issues of this. So it's great reading, and so these original issues are really expensive, so it's a great way to sort of get them a little bit on the cheaper side. Here's issue 2, and the issues they're reprinting correspond with the issue numbers. So that would have been Silver Surfer number 2. Here's number 5, number 7, number 10, number 11. You can see these all have awesome John Buscema artwork. And 14 with a Spider-Man appearance. We've also got, from the more modern times, it's Stan Lee meets the Silver Surfer number 1. And then finally, as the capstone to the whole thing, this is low grade. It's pretty beat up, but it's Infinity Gauntlet number 1. So this is a great lot of Silver Surfer books. I'm personally not a big Silver Surfer fan, but again, you get 1982 number 1, 1987 numbers 1 through 4. You get the Infinity Gauntlet number 1, and you get all those cool reprint books from the reprinting the Silver Age. So I think it's a great lot, and I'm not asking that much for it either. I think the trade value I have on this is just $40. I think, I've looked up these books on eBay, and they're worth more than that. I was actually surprised that the 1987 book is up to like $15 or so on eBay. This is a good seller as well. And then, of course, Infinity Gauntlet's gone down since the movies, but it's always a great book to have. So I'm kind of undervaluing these, but I do want these to find a nice home. And with these lots, I'm looking to trade, obviously the whole lot for one book, potentially 2 books, but I'd really like to get like one $40 book in return. And I'll just mention again, just to stress this, it doesn't really matter to me what comes in. Like, I'm looking just at the value of the book. I'm not looking that much at what the book is. Again, unless we're talking about these really expensive books at sort of the top end, because then I really have to consider the audience. If it's going to be a book that's $300 or $400, I want it to be as mainstream as possible so that I can find a trade partner to trade it back out. But pretty much I'll consider any offer, and I'll accept most of the offers, particularly for these books. So this is a great book. I really was considering keeping it, except for I'm not keeping anything from the trading challenge until the challenge ends. And I also thought about taking this out of the pool temporarily. To be honest, this has dropped a lot in value since I traded for it. It's only worth about half as much as it was when I got it a year and a half ago. But I think there's a good chance this will go back up. There was a lot of hype about these characters from the Young Avengers here. Young Avengers number 1 is the first appearance of most of them, or all of them actually in this. There was a lot of buzz about them appearing in the MCU because individually they've been introduced in a bunch of different series. But the Young Avengers series that brings them all together, it just hasn't happened. It's never been announced. And so even though it seems obvious that they're planting the seeds for it, they haven't done it. And so the prices dropped down. So originally, this was like an $85 to $100 book when I got it. Now it's about half of that. So I'm asking about $50 in trade value. It's a really nice copy. So yeah, it's quite nice. So that's a great book. Again, I used to have it. I got it when it came out, but a while ago when I was downsizing, I sold my set of that, and I kind of regretted it right away. Next up, we got a classic romance comic. It is Lover's Lane number 37. Now, this is pre-code. It's from Lev Gleason. This is a series that it's an interesting issue because all of the issues around this have sort of more sort of shocking cover content with like violence and stuff like that. So all the issues around this are worth quite a bit. This one isn't quite to that level. You can see he's grabbing her by the wrists here. And he says, "Don't be silly, baby. I love all the girls until I leave them." Um, there's some really nice art on the cover. It's not quite as desirable as the other issues in this little mini run, but it's a really nice copy actually. Mid grade, I would say around a 6. Um, I'd say around a 6 for this. So for Golden Age romance, it's in quite nice condition. I forget what I have on that, but it's listed down below. Maybe 75 or something like that. Next up, we have a copy and a nice copy of Star Slayer #2, the first appearance of the Rocketeer, and as you can see, it's a CGC 9.6. And here, of course, is the all-important back cover with the Dave Stevens art introducing the Rocketeer. If you have a copy of this, which you can get from me right now, you should really display it backwards because the back cover is what really makes it, Again, this is a CGC 9.6. The nice thing about having a CGC books is that I have GPA so I can see what the actual current value is. The current market value on this is $85. Now, usually with trades, people tend to bump up their ask for trade value, but I think I'm still just asking the 85. So those of you who have been watching these videos for a long time from the beginning know that I have a lot of copies of Star Slayer 2. I had sent a bunch of them to CGC several years ago, and I've traded a couple of them away. I had a 9.8 that we traded in an earlier round, and there's another 9.6 that I also traded in the previous round, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But we still have one more 9.6 copy here. So this is 85, and if you're a Dave Stevens fan or a Rocketeer fan, or just a fan of cool comics, this is a great book here. And then finally, the last returning book from the previous round is another great romance comic. Low grade, but complete and solid. It is True to Life Romances #10 with this great L.B. Cole cover. Now, L.B. Cole covers are really popular. They're really hot. And his romance books aren't that easy to find. So I'm really happy with this. Now, there's a couple, again, it is low grade. You'll notice a page sneaking out here. It's not detached. I think it's attached to the top staple, but it's still attached to the bottom staple. And again, the book is complete. There's been a couple low-grade copies of this that have sold recently on eBay. One of them, I think, sold for $120, and the other one was like $135, both plus shipping. And both of them were actually a little bit lower grade than this. So I'm asking $150 in trade for this, which I think is a totally reasonable ask. I'm a huge romance fan, and I know a lot of you love my romance videos. I get a lot of people asking me for more romance videos and stuff like that. Interestingly, I haven't had much success actually trading the romance books when I'm offering them. So hopefully some of you in the Romance Hive will come out of the woodwork here and make some trades, because now I'm going to show you the new stuff that's being added to the pool. So this is all stuff that's never been offered before as part of the trading challenge, and there's more romance in there as well. But let's start at the bottom here. We got some $10 books. And here we have Chamber of Chills #11. Just kind of a random Marvel Bronze Age horror book. It's mid-grade. It has a corner crease up here that goes through the book, but it's relatively light. So I have this at around a 5.0. The Marvel horror books, it's interesting. They have a bit of a niche compared to the DC horror books, but I don't think they sold as well as the DC books. They're a little bit harder to find, I think, than the DC horror books. So just a really cool slice of Bronze Age Marvel horror here for $10. This is lower grade. It's more like a 3, maybe a 3.5, but I would say a 3. And from Skywald, it's Heap #1. And again, I'm just asking $10 for this because of the condition. Again, I base most of my prices for the raw books. I look at sold listings on eBay so I can see what actual copies are selling for. And higher grade copies, I mean, higher grade than this, copies are selling $20, $25. So I think $10 for a copy in this condition is more than reasonable. I know we've got some Skywall fans out there and some Heat fans. You know, I don't like my Swamp Monsters, so happy to sort of trade that. Got another low grade book, but this is a much more modern sort of interesting thing. It's Venom Lethal Protector #1. See the shine on that because it's got a foil cover. It presents really well for the grade. Still got most of the gloss. You can see there's a couple spots here where some of the gloss has been sort of rubbed off. It's got a little bit of dirt on it too, but it's for the grade. It presents really well. The main issue with it is that it does have a stain that runs through the book. Don't think it affects the art. It's just sort of in the margin. So I have this only around a 4.0 as a result of that. But as a result of that, it's also kind of cheap because these are routinely selling $25, $30. And I'm just asking 10 in trade. So if you're a fan of Venom and you wanted a copy of this cheap, this is the perfect time to trade me a book for that. I'm not a big Venom fan either, but hopefully I can find someone that's into that. This is another book that's lower grade, another $10 book, but it's so cool. It's the DC Superstar Holiday Special from 1980, and it's got a bunch of cool Christmas stories in it. Now, I've got a couple copies of this. I've got one in my personal collection because it's got a Jonah Hex story in it, and I'm a big Jonah Hex fan. But one of the big points of interest for this book is that it's got the first Frank Miller Daredevil, not Daredevil. It's got the first Frank Miller Batman story in it because Frank Miller does a Batman Christmas story in this issue. So again, I'm just asking $10 for this, which I think is fair. It's a book that was a little bit hotter in the past, but it's a really neat book. And again, for $10, you can't go wrong. It's a giant size sort of dollar comic. So it's got a lot of cool Bronze Age superhero stuff in there from DC. Now moving up a little bit towards the $15 range, we got this here. It's The Life of Pope John Paul II. Now, people that have watched my channel for a while know that I have an interest in Christian comics and religious comics. So I've had this in my collection a long time. This is not a recent dollar bin find. This is something that I got it out of a dollar bin quite a while ago. But while it's cool to have around, I've just had it on my spinner rack because I think it's kind of funny. I'm not Catholic. I've never read it. I'm not actually that interested in reading it. So I thought maybe it's time to send this to a new home of someone that maybe has been looking for a copy of this. Again, I'm trading in. I'm asking 15 in trade for it. It's a solid, mid-grade copy. So if you've been looking for the life of Pope John Paul II, here's your chance to trade for it. Still in the $15 range, we have X-Force number 116. Now, this is the first appearance of the X-Statix version of X-Force. So it's the first appearance of all of those characters, like You Go Girl and, pretty much all of them. It's also the first appearance of Dupe, which is a weird character that for some reason has become popular. And so this copy, it's a nice copy, but it does have a little bit of dings in sort of the corner. It was from a dollar bin and wasn't bagged or boarded, so it's like that. It's got a little bit of rougher around the corners. So I would say it's maybe in the 6.5 or 6 range. It's got a long, I don't want to say crease, but it almost looks like a production crease along the spine of the book. But it's a nice copy. Again, $15 asking a trade for that. Now, for Spider-Man fans, I've got what you've been waiting for. It's Amazing Fantasy 15, and it's just $15. Okay, this is a lot, actually, of 2 books. So here's the True Believers Amazing Fantasy 15. This is, this is just from a few years ago, and this was priced at $1. So this is part of their True Believers line where they were reprinting classic Marvel key books for $1. So it's strange to me that, well, if you go on eBay and you look at the sold listings, you will find a number of them that are sold for $1, most of them on auctions. But one thing that's interesting about eBay is that a lot of people don't like to do the auctions because you wait for a week and then someone outbids you at the end. And so people that really want the books would rather pay more for a buy it now to ensure they get it. So copies of this have been selling routinely for $10 to $15, even though you might be able to get one cheaper. I find it a little strange that a reprint from a few years ago that was priced at $1 is selling for 10 to 15, but it is. Something that's a little bit older, makes a little more sense though, is a perfect companion to that book, and it's Marvel Tales 138, reprinting Amazing Spider-Man #1. Now you can see this is a newsstand version. It's from 1982, and it's actually quite nice. It's about an 8.0. It's a really nice copy. And again, this is a book that normally sells for 10 to 15. I'm only asking 15 actually for the set of both of them, because I just find it a little strange that the valuation on this one. But I think it's perfectly not just reasonable, but it was a really nice price, I think, to trade for the set of both of them for 15. And then if you're a Spider-Man fan, you've got both Amazing Fantasy 15, his first appearance, and his second appearance in Amazing Spider-Man #1. You have the reprints of both of those. So it's a great way to sort of get cheap copies of those key books in your collection. I have something similar here, a set of 2. I was originally just going to offer a... hold on one second. Okay, I had to pause for a second because there's a price tag on this that was not accurate to what I paid for it. Because again, these are all books I paid $1 or less for. But it's a pretty nice copy of Star Slayer #10. As you can see up here at the top, it's introducing Grimjack. So this is the first appearance of Grimjack. This is the book that had spiked up to $30 3 or 4 years ago because they announced a Grimjack TV show from Amazon. And then it hasn't been mentioned since because the development process takes forever. And so it's dropped back down again to $10 to $15 book or so. And this is a pretty nice copy. It's got a little bit of a thumb bend on the top of the book, but I'm a big Grimjack fan, so I think this is a great book. I was originally just going to have this for trade, but then I realized when I was going through my dollar bin stash that I also had a copy of Grimjack #1 in the dollar bin stash as well. So first appearance, first issue of Grimjack. We're doing the set of both for 15. And the only thing I have to warn you is once you read these, then you're going to need to get the rest of the run because they're totally awesome. John Ostrander writing and Tim Truman with the art is just a classic. Classic book, is so good. I'm a big Grimjack fan, so I think this is a great deal. $15 trade for the set of both of those. We also have a high-grade copy of John Carter, Warlord of Mars, #1. It's a really nice copy. It's high grade. It's probably, I hate to... I'm going to say 8.5 because I don't like to go above that, and I haven't really inspected it with a fine, at a micro level, which I would need to do to try and grade anything above that. But it's a really, really nice copy of John Carter, Warlord of Mars #1. Now, I got this in a trade. I didn't even get it out of a dollar bin, to be honest. I got it for free because I was doing like a swap with some people online. And this is one of the books that I received. And it's got a great cover with the really interesting team of Gil Kane pencils and Dave Cockrum inks. And you can see both of them in this because it has the Gil Kane layouts, which is great. But the inking doesn't look anything like Gil Kane at all. It's much more Cockrum. So great book. Again, really nice copy. So I think 15 is a reasonable for that. And speaking of higher grade books, now we're getting up into some new stuff that's a little bit higher up. Um, I could probably ask more for these, but we have some high grade or higher grade, I should say, copies of a couple classic Bronze Age adventure comics issues with the Spectre. So here's 437, and here's 439. And both of these are really nice. They're really nice. They're clean, they're flat. Um, and I think both of them are probably in the 7.5 to 8 range. So the set of both of these, I'm asking 30 for the set. So some great comics. If you're a fan of the Spectre, this is just an all-time classic run. I've had a number of copies of these in the past, and these are the nice ones. When I got rid of the rest of my Spectre run of Adventure Comics, I kept these two because they were so nice. I've had these a long time, which is how I was able to get them so cheap. But yeah, so 30 for that set. And then speaking of Spectre, I'm also asking 30 for this. This is a dollar bin find recently, so that within the last couple years. It's been harder and harder to find good stuff in dollar bins recently. I've got a couple books from the last couple years that have been that are sort of legitimately sort of cool, nice books, dollar bins. So this is one of the better finds, one of the best finds really for me for the last couple years, I would say. And it is the Spectre number 62. This is the last issue of the Ostrander and Mandrake Spectre run, which is a fan favorite, classic run. Low print run, last issue, hard to find. And copies of this have been selling routinely on eBay for around $30. So that's what I'm asking in trade. It's a nice copy, but not, I wouldn't say high grade. Again, it's been in a dollar bin with no board, so like the top corner is a little blunted, that sort of thing, a little bit on the bottom corner as well. But it's a really nice, solid book, and hard to find if you're a Spectre fan. Must have. I think there's only a couple keys in this run. The first appearance of Mr. Terrific is one of them. But in terms of what you're going to spend to put the run together, this is, I think, probably, I'm not an expert, but I think probably the second most expensive issue. So if you're putting together a Spectre run or you're trying to finish your Spectre run, this is a great book to get. And then finally, I told you there's going to be some romance in here. You're going to see some of these, a lot of these still have the $1 price tags on them. It's a lot of 7 classic Bronze Age romance comics. From 2 from Charlton, 2 from DC, and 3 from Marvel. So we'll start with the Charlton because those are probably the ones people are least interested in, even though they're really cool. It's Teen Confessions number 80, which has a really cool cover on it. And then it's Time for Love number 36. Which looks like it might be an Art Capello cover, although I think they might have taken these faces from different stories inside. I'm not 100% sure. But, so 2 classic Charlton romance books. And then here's the DC books, lower grade. This one has a pop staple, but a great cover. It's Falling in Love number 137 with a Nick Cardy tennis cover. Really great. And then we have 136, which is in nicer condition. And it looks to me like this might be a J. Scott Pike cover, just based on the line work. I haven't looked it up, but just the line work looks like it. And then here's the Marvels. Again, lower grade, but some great stuff here. My Love number 12. And then A couple classics here, which I think might have Romita covers. It's Our Love Story number 7. So this is real early Bronze Age, 15 centers. And then Our Love Story number 8. So we've got 7 great romance comics. You know, romance comics are getting harder and harder to find and becoming more and more expensive. So again, these are, you know, low mid-grade books at best. But there's a lot of 7 great ones here. And I don't remember exactly what I have on that. Again, it's down below. I think it might be 35. But actually, I'm going to show it on screen. So that's the list. Let's put up, first of all, here's the list that we started with. This was last round, which is a very different list because we have some more expensive books on it. And now here's the new list. Boom. Here's the new list. New, fresh start for this. And this is what's available now. Now you may be wondering what happened to the books from the previous one. Well, I didn't actually get any trades done after the last video. None. No trades at all. So I put that on pause, and in the last few weeks I've come back and I've made some big trades. I don't have all of the books in hand yet, though. But I've basically been wheeling and dealing to sort of trade up for some big books. And so next video, I'm going to show you what I got out of those trades, and we'll show you, again, the sort of higher books that are retired from the regular pool as I try and wrangle them into sort of a big ticket item. So all of the books that were missing from last time, there's a few that I took out that just weren't, I didn't think people were that interested in, like the Count Duckula number 1 as much as I think it was cool. But there's some higher ticket books that have gone out from last time. First Miles Morales, First Silk 1 in 10 variant. Those have gone out. Those are sort of the big ones. And then the Avengers Annual 10 went out, and a few others. And I'm waiting to get those books in, but it's going to be a few weeks before I actually get them in. So I didn't want to wait any longer to post the video. So that's the new trading challenge pool. I hope there's some cool stuff in there that you'll like. I'm really excited to get back to the trading, and my email is going to be down below. You can contact me about trades either by posting in the comments or sending me an email. And again, if you're interested in something, then I'll temporarily mark it as sort of on hold, reserved as we're working out the trade. And then if we're able to work out the trade, we'll mark it as trade and we'll do the trade. If we're not able to work out a trade, then that'll be back available to everybody. But I hope people like it. I hope everyone has fun doing it, and I'm really excited to get back into trading. So let me know what you think down below. Hit me up with your trade offers, and let's see if we can help each other get some cool comics.